I am the Commissar, that's my name. Forged alliance forever, that's the game. And who have we got with a claim to fame? Today we have 2v2 ladder on the plateau of Arasis. Now, in a previous cast I have whinged about the spelling of Arasis on the dunes thereof, so I shan't go through all that again. But you know it's there, I know it's there, and I hope that you'll hate it too. Nonetheless, I actually prefer the map Plateau to Dunes. We'll talk about the map in a moment, but let's first go on and meet the teams. We have the hot team in the north and the cold team in the south. Going first for the hot team, this is Alexanderberlin. He is 1368 rated, he's Seraphim, and he's in Burgundy. And to his right we have ItsNotMe, 1292 rated, also Seraphim, in red. And their mirrors on the cold team. On the, I guess, flanking position, we have Matijcek, who is 1619 rated, by far the highest rated player in this game. He's playing Cybrans in dark blue. And his ally, Polysalama, the lowest rated player in the game at only 1085, also Cybrans in baby blue. So we have a race war here between the Seraphim in the hot and the Cybrans in the cold. The map, Plateau of Arasis, is, I mostly see this as a 4v4, and when it's 4v4 there are starting positions here and here with 4 mexes each. But on this adaptive version they don't spawn if the players don't spawn here, so that's a nice little change. These huge civilian outposts can be eaten up by the various teams. They're very tasty. You'll see there's a lot of high reclaim buildings in there, and there's even things like riptides and strikers to eat. And there's similarly around here lots of nice stuff, tasty, full of mass, to be eaten up. Civilian trucks parked around the place. Expansions. Normally there are slightly more mexes around here in the 4v4 version, but I'm sure I'll get used to it. So we got mexes that are safe for each team around here. An expansion which, if there were 4 players, would go to the player who's here, but I guess that Alexander and Matty are going to have to go and take those. And then these mid-plateaus, where there will probably be a lot of fighting. Also, big heaps of reclaim in the middle in form of rocks, and I expect to see Alexander and Matty probably fighting over those. If there are going to be specific air players, they're probably going to be ItsNotMe and Polly. And ItsNotMe has indeed started with a bomber, which is flying out. Where's it heading? Coming in over here to see if it can pick up an NG, perhaps? That would be a good use for it. Kill the expanding NGs because they take longer to be replaced. But that bomber has landed. Who can say why? Now, Polly is gonna set up here, building himself some mexes at that little expansion there, whereas ItsNotMe looks like he's heading straight for this reclaim. I prefer... Oh, that bomber missed its NG attempt and got shot down, so that bomber is wasted. Over here, Alexander is dropping NGs out to this plateau, while Matty is preferring to walk out, which will take him a bit longer, so Alexander will have an eco advantage there over Matty. ItsNotMe needs to walk in here and start reclaiming. This is tasty, and the quicker he gets to this compared to Polly getting to this, the better for him. Good drops of multiple engineers around all these expansion mexes for Alexander. And a Celine, where's that going? Well, that Celine is going here to see if it can spot an engineer coming forward and capture it. Perhaps this engineer will be heading up there. I say capture it, I mean kill it. Imagine T1 labs or scouts with capture capability. That would be horrific. It's Not Me now getting stuck into that lovely reclaim. We'll have a look at the reclaim figures in a little bit, and meanwhile we've got Alexander trying to set up a point defense to guard this reclaim field in the middle, but it looks like Matijcek is going to handle that no problems. The Celine from Alexander pushes further forward, and Alexander also has a bomber out. So it looks like we have slightly more of an air focus from the hot team, who have a decent number of inties as well. Matty's sending tanks to see if they can pick up any engineers here, but unfortunately for them, the only thing they're going to find is It's Not Me's comm, which will easily clear up those 3 tanks. Meanwhile, where's that bomber from Alexander going? It has found and killed an engineer here, which will stop Poly's expansion. That's nice. If you're Alexander, it's not nice if you're Poly. And this could be a lovely pickup. Ow! Pain for Poly as he loses 3 more engineers to that bomber. He kills the bomber, but ouch. Meanwhile, It's Not Me sending a wave of spam across the middle plateau, but I don't think it's going to get far because this production here plus these tanks already here seem more than enough to counter it. And indeed they are. Forces from It's Not Me are killed and these ones turn away. Again, maybe they think they're going to find an engineer here, but they're only going to find a comm. In this case, Matty's comm. And they die. But Matty is, despite his production, is reasonably alone in the middle, and Alexander is coming down with a heap of spam. And that might force Matty to retreat. Matty, meanwhile, is sending a good raid up here. Look at that, he's taking that out, he's taking that out. Each raid has just enough to counter the tanks being trickled in against it. This is delicious damage from Matty. Matty has a radar here and sees what's coming, so he is wisely being a little bit cautious, pulling a little bit back. The radar is popped, so no longer can Matty see what's coming, but he knows what he saw. There's production here, though, for Alexander, and this raid of Poly's might be eaten up. He's still going to get another engineer here, and he might get that mech if those guys go over there, but I think they won't take out this because Alexander has enough production. Another push down the right from It's Not Me, who is still having his comm eating up all this delicious reclaim, and Poly hasn't gone for this or this, any of this. This is something he really needs to think about working on, especially while he's got control of this area. He's getting in here, but is it going to be enough, or will production from these factories stop it? Meanwhile, Matty is down into the yellow because Alexander and his spam have been enough to push it back. But Alexander doesn't take it any further. That's wise because Matty has a decent amount of stuff over here. And that's a lot of spam. It's quite spread out, but it's still a lot of spam from It's Not Me and Alexander. Matty going for a gun. Is that perchance too far forward, or has he got enough of a crutch here to defend it? This lot is moving across, but that's a long way for it to come. And these artillery pieces here from Alexander can shoot down, killing interceptors, can shoot down from above. And Matty already on his way to T3 land. That's pretty early. But that's a lot of tanks surrounding Matty, and he is forced to cancel the gun. In the end, it seems as if Alexander was able to shoo away Poly from this side, but Poly is sending his tanks across here, and he'll pick up a couple of mexes belonging to Alexander. The ecos are dead on even, though, exactly even. That is pretty close. And Cold Team were ahead in total, so they've either had an early lead. If I look at Reclaim, Code to be even ahead in reclaim, despite ItsNotMe having been eating away at this. Well, he stopped, that's why. ItsNotMe, you need to get your comm doing stuff, not just standing there. That could be an error, but watch this! This is a Notha snipe coming in against Matty, and Matty tries to dodge, but it's too little. Possibly too late as he's down to only 900 hit points. There are a lot of inties around for Matty, and and that's good dodging, and he's up above 1,000 hit points again, but another bomb comes down. And the first wave is killed, but 2 more are coming in. He keeps dodging, but is he going to be able to turn? He turns. The bombs fall, but it's too late. Matty, the highest rated player in the game, goes up in smoke at 10 minutes 45 as Notha fighter bomber fire rains down upon him. Wow. And it's all on Poly now if you're supporting the Code team. And what can Poly do? He's got a decent amount of spam up here, and he's pushing the smaller force of Alexander's back. Well, this stuff is staying put, and that should either come in and help, or that should fall back, but it shouldn't split them up. And thanks to the success of that first wave of Nothas, we have another wave of Nothas coming out from ItsNotMe. Alexander pausing his T2 upgrade. There. ItsNotMe has remembered and is going back to eat all this stuff, but here come his Nothas. Quick look at the eco. Poly is ahead of the hot team by 30 mass per tick, which is pretty nice. Is this going to be an attempt to snipe? He's outside of his shield. He's got a few inches, but not much in the way of air defense, so the fight goes down here and easily holds back Alexander. But we've got to watch these Nothas. Boom, T2 mechs straight out, and even the reclaim smashed by the drop. We have now got a flak up here, and that will help against the Nothas. One goes down, but a second T2 mechs is taken out. Poly is still just ahead on the mass totals, but not by much. Then one last Notha swings back round and gets a bomb off before dying, and the bomb takes out the shield generator. So, pretty good raid, killed 2 T2 mexes. Meanwhile, a trickle of T1 spam is coming down from Alexander, but I don't think it's going to get far, because Poly's comm is here, Poly has rhinos here. It's not me planning to eco up and get a T3 snipe on Poly while telling Alexander to focus more on land. This trickle is easily being stopped by these forces because it's not masked up, but this force might do a little more work as it comes over here. It's got 1 rhino in it, but there's no T2 at all here from Alexander, so that could make the difference. Meanwhile, rhinos also head up the middle, but Alexander's comm with gun is there, and that's going to be enough to see them off. Same story here, a trickle of T1 units comes up the side, but ItsNotMe's comm is there. ItsNotMe has a bit of spam there. He'll be able to handle that without much of a problem. Poly's push comes in, and he's still got that rhino alive. There are, however, T1 point defences here surrounded by walls, and they'll probably be able to handle the rhino, whose straight line laser guns will mostly run into the walls and almost none will get over to hit the point defences. That's the problem with beam weapons. It's fine on water with Seraphim destroyers and UEF Neptune battle cruisers, but beam weapons for land units like the rhinos, they can be a problem. Same with them Seraphim T2 point defense turrets. They also often have problems with the shape of the land, defences in the form of walls, that sort of thing. And Alexander is able to repel that attack with the help of those point defenses, just about. Quite a decent horde of spam now coming down from Alexander across the middle. Will Polly have enough to repel it? Gun coming in for It's Not Me. Alexander resuming his T2 upgrade. This looks like it might actually get some damage done. Rather than come back to defend, Polly has just pushed on past it, but that doesn't feel like enough to get work done up there, so I think he should have retreated. It's Not Me finishes the gun. Polly feels he's spread very thin across here. And let's not forget, he's the lowest rated player in the game. He's got to hold out 2v1. That is quite the ask. Will he be able to manage it? He does have slightly more... Actually, last time we checked he had slightly more equal, now he doesn't. Tactical missile coming in for Alexander. Meanwhile, Alexander's spam is getting work done. It's killed 3 of the factories over here. And it's eating up a decent amount of Polly's forces, but Polly's forces are able to kill it, and he does have a lot of T2. Now, It's Not Me has just got some ASFs up at T3 Air, and Polly is still quite some way off T3 Air, but Polly is at T3 Land and has a big heap of loyalists just coming out of his base, whereas the hot team are still only at T2 Land, so air versus land, which is going to swing it. These desultory little attacks from Alexander are easily going to be seen off by Polly's land defences, but will It's Not Me be able to mass enough of a snipe? And Alexander has fired his TMO and got this mech down here with it, which is pretty nice. That mech was T2, and this single Zooey creeps round and picks off some more mechs. And he's also killed this, which has been pretty bad for the power situation, I imagine. Another tier. Ooh. Now, these loyalists are going to kill this Zooey, but if that goes down, I think Polly's going to have power problems. Ouch. And another shot comes in. But that one hits nothing, and indeed he does. Did you see that big drop in his mass? He must be power stolen. But he's got a big chunk of lawyers in the middle, and there's nothing that Alexander has on the field to stop a big chunk of lawyers. Some Bernie Sanders, as Dial is fond of calling them, the loyalists. Another big push of rhinos up the left as well is worth keeping an eye on, though some Ilshis have snuck through. That's a bit too sneaky for Sarah. That's what the Cybrans think, is sneaking a couple of boys through like that. Anyway, meanwhile, this big push of rhinos is coming up here, where it feels like it's going to get some damage done. That's surely enough, and it smacks out one of the PDs. Polly doesn't feel he has enough loyalists here to force the issue with Alexander. Polly, my dude, you need to get your power back under control. Gunships now being massed in the middle for It's Not Me. And this big T2 force does feel like there is a single T2 point defense in there, but I feel that there's enough there to evict Alexander. Alexander fires again, and Poly brings his T2 power back online by the looks of things. Yeah, he's got some more there. But another T2 mech sniped out by that tactical missile launcher, and Alexander is not stopping with it. But he may be forced to pull back here because that's a lot of lawyers. Careful, says It's Not Me, and wisely Alexander heeds him and falls back. Poly does now have T3 Air as well, and he's got a T3 P-Gen up to support it, so he can produce ASFs. He's got one that I can see so far. But It's Not Me has many more in the way of ASFs to defend these gunships. There is a flak supporting the loyalists, but that can easily be targeted first. There's only one of it, and that's a lot of gunships. So in come the loyalists chasing the comm. They're faster than the comm, of course, but if they get too far back, then there's these turrets here to which the comms are falling back, and Alexander does have a gun. He's overcharging, but the gunships arrive. Instantly, Poly dispatches his air wing to fight off the gunships, and Alexander is taking damage. But the lawyers retreat and try and get some eco damage done instead. And here come It's Not Me's ASFs, and the air fight commences. There's still a lot of inties for Poly, but It's Not Me has ASFs. Has more ASFs. Several of the lawyers are dying to the gunships. Only 5 of them remain, thanks to the combination of Alexander Berlin's guncom and the gunships from It's Not Me. Meanwhile, having, as we expected, completely smashed Alexander out of this top corner, these rhinos have come across here. Looks like all of Poly's ASFs are dead, but so are many of It's Not Me's gunships. Just one of these Vothus survives. And there's not much to stop even these rhinos, let alone these royalists, if Poly can just get enough up to kill this one more Vothu. And he's sending more units with more lawyers in across the middle. Eco's again looking pretty even. Overall, the hot team has collected more. But I see a monkey under construction in Poly's base, and that could definitely make the difference. It's Not Me has sent a T3 mobile shield to support Alexander. But the further waves of lawyers are actually getting quite deep into the hot team's base, and they're pushing right on in there. Ping going down, presumably from Matty to tell Poly to send his lawyers somewhere. Taking out those energy storage might be nice. Stop the comm overcharging. But there are PDs being built, and it feels like these lawyers aren't going to survive a great deal longer. Will they be able to get one of these T2 mixes? Maybe. Alexander has been trying to set up back here again, but quite a large force, possibly too large a force, from Poly has gone over there. T1 bomber defense from Alexander, and they've killed the shield, but they're not actually going to kill any of the mexes, so I think that might have been a little bit of a mass dump, and indeed there's 1,000 mass to reclaim there, and another 1,000 there that the hot team will easily be able to get their hands on. More lawyers, which Alexander is using his T1 bombers to defend against it. Since there's a lot of flak over here, but it's not him, and so these bombers are getting free damage against the loyalists. Still only one. Oh no, we do have 2 T3 air factories for Poly, but ItsNotMe only has 1, so he might begin to get back towards air control, but for the moment ItsNotMe has the air control. Is he using it though? Because these ASFs are going to town on these bombers. Meanwhile, that monkey is finished, and here it is walking forward. Let's get a nice little cinematic shot of that monkey lord walking towards us. Pro filmmaking there, I'm sure you all agree. Poly's ASFs are patrolling around here. This looks a little dangerous though. Sure, he's got the T2 and he's able to build T2 PDs, but that's a lot of loyalists for one commander to face. Has he got overcharged? I think he must have done, because he just shot down that yes, he's got quite a lot of energy storage there, so killing off those didn't really help Poly. Where's that flak gone? It must have been quite effectively killed, because these bombers are just eating through these with no resistance. Othium raid coming down here on the right, and there's only T1 from Poly to stop it, so that's possibly going to get quite a bit of damage in there. We'll have to come back to that. But again, Poly is attacking this top left thing, which Alexander's had real trouble holding on to. He's got T2 production there, but at the moment he's only got engineers queued up before the Ilshis down the line, and I don't think they'll be in time. But this monkey is coming through, and I do not think they do not. Hot Team do not know that, because thanks to its stealth field, that there is a monkey going through there. They might see those shots coming past, but will they know it's a monkey? They haven't pinged it or anything, so I don't think that Alexander knows that he might be only seconds away from death. He's been putting up point defences and everything, like the T2 point defences and everything here. Well, now he knows. He's seen it coming. He's running away. That T3 shield is following him in support. But the monkey's faster than he is. He turns, he dodges, but there's also a big horde of loyalists coming in from the other side. Sandwiched in between the loyalists and the monkey, Alexander Berlin dies a death. And now it's 1v1. Polysalama versus ItsNotMe. ItsNotMe is not happy with Alexander's performance this game. And he is not afraid to let him know. Meanwhile though, the comm bomb did destroy that heap of lawyers, so now this monkey is unsupported. And ItsNotMe is trickling in T1 bombers being produced as fast as he can. However, Poly has been producing ASFs, and it looks like Poly might win the air fight. And yes, he does. Poly wins the air fight, and he'll now be free to use these ASFs to come back and hit this monkey. Othiums and Ilshavos come in from ItsNotMe, aiming to shoot up the monkey, but the monkey laser is more than enough to handle them, and they are soon taken out. The monkey is going to push in, and it's going to get some work done up here. Quick check around the rest of the map. Those Othiums did manage to kill these mexes, but they died. And their reclaim looks to have been eaten, unless that's them. Oh, there they are. Nobody has control of this area now. The monkey comes in and starts smashing up mexes. This feels pretty brutal. However, there are a lot of T2 PDs, there are a lot of T1 PDs. The monkey's walking into them. Ophium's coming up from behind. The monkey goes into range of these PDs. It needs to keep walking. And ItsNotMe is heading straight for the monkey with his gun comm. This is some courage right here. The monkey's down into the red, and ItsNotMe fires an overcharge. The first one doesn't get it, but there's enough fire support from the turrets that, despite it getting ItsNotMe down to half health, he just about survives, and the monkey wreck is left in his base, but a lot of mechs have been killed. Despite that, he's still ahead of Poly in eco, thanks to how much he's teched up all around here. Desultory T1 trickle is going to be easy for ItsNotMe to stop there. These lawyers are going to be more of a problem. But with his gun comm, with T3 mobile shields, there's that naughty little Seraphim tech there. And with these Ophiums, it's probably enough to see away Poly, and indeed he falls back, or at least until he can bring these boys in to join up. And more Ophiums coming across here to support, relying on the turrets to defend against the T1, which they seem to be easily doing. So Hot Team still ahead on eco, but without a doubt it is, I say Hot Team, it's only ItsNotMe now. ItsNotMe still ahead on eco, but it's without a doubt Poly who has the map control. And I feel that he has a bit more in the way of units. We can have a quick look at that. He has 25 loyalists in there, which is quite a lot, and that's a decent amount of DPS. If I take out the anti-air units, his total army there can put out 5,000 DPS. What do we got for ItsNotMe? Well, ItsNotMe has far less. He only has 12 Ophiums, but that is still roughly 5,000 DPS thanks to their superior firepower. And it's my belief that Poly, that's the name, would be doing better if he had a bunch of bricks as well as just lawyers. But for now, he's happy to stick to lawyers. The bricks are one of my favourite units, and I almost never go for lawyers when I can just go straight into bricks, because sure, they have their little stun bomb when they die and things like that, and they have tactical missile deflection, which is really useful up against UEF or Sera cruisers if you're just, you know, patrolling around trying to stop cruiser fire while you get a counter prepared. But for straight up land combat, especially in this situation when you're up against one of the races which has either Harbies or Ophiums, then bricks are just better in my opinion. So if I were Poly, I would be producing bricks. But I am not Poly, and this is what Poly has produced instead of bricks. He has produced a megalith. Have a look at that crab coming on forward. And I think we saw a chicken being started. There it is. We have a chicken being started for ItsNotMe, but crab beats chicken. I'm curious here, given how the Hot Team has been ahead in eco, what did the kill ratios look like? Well, look at that. That's what, 75-80% better for Cold Team than for Hot Team. They've just killed more with the stuff that they've built. And you can absolutely see that in the map control. We have, now, I've seen this once or twice, we have a line of T1 factories just churning out T1 spam. Zuis are a popular choice, as are Medusae for this little maneuver. And when you're Sera, Zuis it is. And here they all come in their little conga line, all aboard the Zui train. But here comes the Mega. The chicken is complete. Now, is this the right move from Poly? The Mega is going off unsupported in this direction, while the rest of... Oh, there we go. The rest of the T3 force is called back as the Mega just bombards the space at range, shutting down some of ItsNotMe's production. How's he going to use this chicken, which is... It's got a bit of support here, but this what will be trying to divert to stop this force here. That's quite a significant army, and if it could team up with the chicken, but Crab beats chicken. Crab probably beats two chickens, to be honest. So it's my feeling that ItsNotMe is going to have trouble defending against Poly with this, and Poly has got whalers out. He has complete air control by the looks of things. We can have a quick check of that. Poly has 46 ASFs and... Are those ASFs or inties? Yeah, Poly has 46 ASFs and ItsNotMe only has like 16, but they come in to shoot these whalers, but there's the whalers over here that have just cleaned up the train of Zuis. And the chicken retreats, having been fired upon by the crab. The crab is undamaged, the chicken's already down to 2/3 health. These Othiums remain, and these lawyers need to come back and fight them, but it looks like the Mega's just going to shoot the Othiums in the back as Mega and Chicken dance around this outcrop. I guess the Chicken's trying to ambush the Mega, maybe getting close to open fire on it, but look at that, it's good use of the kiting ability of the Mega, where if you click just behind it, it will back up rather than turn. And it opens fire on the Chicken, and the Chicken is just shedding hit points without getting a single shot off on the Mega, and it tries to flee. Again, the Zui train begins, but and Othium's coming down the middle, but now taking advantage of his air superiority, Poly also has a bunch of strats, which he now turns the stealth on. The Chicken dies to the Mega, or to the gunships, or to some combination of the above. Either way, the Chicken is dead. And despite having the better eco, what can ItsNotMe do about this? Well, he thinks the answer is nothing, and it could be that he's right. This Chicken, these strats, these gunships, ItsNotMe resigns at 37 minutes. So, huge mad props to Poly for coming back 1v2 despite being the lowest rated player in the game. Do you think ItsNotMe could have saved it with his better eco? If so, how? Do you think that Alexander messed up as badly as ItsNotMe asserted that he did? Tell me in the comments below. While you're down there, don't forget to like, subscribe, and obey. I am the Commissar, and I will see you next time.